Okay, so there's a little voice there. All right, so does anyone kind of want to go around or start and be like, who you are, where you're from, and we'll go from there.
I'll go first. I'm Lisa Raska. I'm a middle school counselor, 8th grade in Cheshire, Connecticut, Don Middle School. And what's the name of the YouTube page?
It's from the CISCA director, executive CISCA director. So all the workshops are posted. Anything that's recorded on Zoom is posted on there.
Okay.
So you see all the PDs that are on there. So it's very.
So last Thursday and Friday was on there too.
They will be. So CISCA did that through a NCYI.
Okay.
That was the company that did the recording. So they're going to upload everything on there, including my lovely speech that they put on there.
It was great. I saw it. It was fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Lisa. All right. Anyone else?
Andrea Versillo. I am a school counselor at Ansonia Middle School. Currently, we are grades 7 and 8, but in the fall, we will be going to grades 6, 7, and 8.
Ooh, exciting 6th graders. Ooh, you can get some ideas of how to connect with those little elementary year ones.
Yeah, we just had some tours over the last couple of days. We have 2 elementary schools here in town. And so both of them toured over the last couple of days to bring the students in to get them to see the big middle school.
Oh, that's so sweet. So those elementary schools will be doing lots of transitions for they'll be doing a promotion ceremony for their 4th and 5th. Oh, no, sorry, their 5th and 6th. Yeah.
5th and 6th.
Cool. Good. Excellent. Welcome.
Bill Girondo. I work in Wilton. We have a middle school there, 1 middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grades. I'm the current 8th grade counselor, and then we loop with the kids. So I'll be going to 6th grade in the fall. So we've done some transition programs already. And then we have a web program, which is our orientation program for the 5th graders, rising 5th graders with our then rising 8th graders as leaders.
Excellent. Love that. Well, thank you so much. Welcome. Let's go to Allison.
Hi, I'm Allison Andrade. I'm actually an intern at Worcester Middle School in Stratford. I'm currently interviewing for school counselor positions for the fall, but I decided to join in today because just to get some insight on the middle school setting, just because I am in the middle school setting currently. So hi, everybody.
Excellent. That's very cool. Yay. There's a lot of positions posted. So make sure there's actually a middle school position posted in Danbury. Just so you know. We have 3 middle schools here, but there is going to be a position. There's actually going to be a freshman academy too at the high school. So keep your eye out if Danbury is the area for you.
Okay,
great.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Let's go with Marissa Kay.
Hi, I'm Marissa Cash. I'm at Salem School. It's a K-8 school, so I have all the levels.
Fun. So exciting. Thanks for coming. And let's go Marissa G.
Hi, I'm Marissa Gallo. I am at Groton Middle School. We recently combined 2 middle schools to make 1. So we have 1 middle school in our town now, and we have 6, 7, 8, and we loop with our students. So I currently have 7th grade, we'll be looping to 8th. And then 2 of my coworkers are also on this Zoom as well under D. Courtwright.
Oh, okay.
If you want to go right after me.
You wanted to transition to them?
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Marissa. That made it a little easier. I'm Chelsea Courtwright. I'm currently a grade 6 counselor here at Groton Middle School. As Marissa said, we did recently combine 2 middle schools to make 1. And we do loop with our kids. So there's 2 counselors per grade. And I have with me.
Hi, I'm Deb Crofts. I'm Marissa's other half. And Curtis, I think I remember you. I know Kelly Brooks and Mark.
Yes. Hi.
Congratulations on your new award.
Thank you so much. I know it's been a while since we've been at the beach together. So nice to see you.
You too.
Awesome. Okay. And I don't know if anyone with their Mary or Bonnie, did you guys want to introduce yourself, or Darcy, if you're there? Oh, there you are. Go ahead.
Hi, I can go. We're just saying who we are, what school we work in.
Yep.
So Bonnie O'Brien, Middlebrook School, Wilton public schools.
Excellent. Great. Awesome. Go ahead. Oh, there you are. Mary, go ahead.
Oh, hi, I'm Mary Lennon, retired November 2019, private practice, wanting to figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up. And wondering, I want to help kids, parents, teachers. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just learning today and listening.
Awesome. I'm so happy you're here. That is so sweet. All right, Darcy, I think you're the last one.
Hi, I'm Darcy Barron, Parish Hill Middle High School, 7 through 12, and I have my intern practicum student here from UConn, Devin Solomon. Yeah, just, it's been a crazy year.
Ooh, I was a UConn grad too, so awesome. Very cool. Welcome. All right.
I have an intern too. I'll let introduce herself, Allison.
Okay, great.
Hi everyone, I'm Allison. I'm currently interning at Salem School this year and also starting my process of applying to jobs.
Woo, how exciting. Well, there's a lot posted. I think there's like 25 of them on CT Reap right now. And Waterbury actually just hired 25 elementary school counselors in part of a grant that they received. And I think there's going to be a lot of positions with the COVID relief funds that are going in. Hopefully they will be lasting positions and not like a 3 to 5 year plan kind of going on. All right, so I just gave you guys free resources for coming to my workshop. So there's some very cool PowerPoints of having to introduce yourself with either doing like a 1 school counselor position or 2 school counselors and kind of what you do. So I think this would be really cool to use for introducing to your 5th or 6th graders. So if you didn't get that in the chat, please let me know and I can resend it. Very cute little pictures, and you can change them with the your bit emojis. I know that was a very popular thing to use for telling. I think a lot of when 5th and 6th graders come in, they're always like, well, what do you do, Mr. Darragh? Who are you? I never had a school counselor before. And I'm like, oh, well, here's my cool little PowerPoint presentation. And let's talk about these different emotions and emojis. So I'm just going to kind of share my screen. I usually use the 1 school counselor one, and my partner uses hers. We really share a lot of these. Oops, someone just is popping in. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, so I kind of meet your school counselors kind of thing. So very cute little different, you could change the different colors that they had on here. If it's male, female, whatever your team is like. So it kind of goes in and it goes into telling you what is a school counselor and how what do we do and what do we offer to our students. So it's really cute, a safe person I can talk to. I always going to go into all these emotions of talk to me about your feelings. If you're happy, sad, angry, scared, nervous, lonely, calm, or confused. Those seem to be the very big 8 emotions that come across into this office all the time. And solving problems, making good choices and learning from my mistakes. So definitely feel free to use all this fun stuff. You can also make it into a very big developmental guidance lesson or a small group counseling unit when talking to kids during lunch bunches, introducing ourselves. So I think I'm going to use this more as a 6th grade, welcome back, this is our welcome to West Side, welcome to middle school. This is what a school counselor kind of does. And having kids kind of raise their hands and being well, how many things do you think that I can help you with? What are some of your ideas? And then showing these as their answers and having them kind of reflect and being oh yeah, okay, so I know that I can come to you for any of those supports that I need. So how can school counselors help you? Okay. And then the other one would be more on the 1 scale. And then I think that kind of dives deep down more into, oh my gosh, stop sharing this. The other one that I shared you with. So I kind of made this into my own. And then that's my partner, Miss Reaper. That's also when I had brown hair. And then so next year I'll say my 7th year at WSMSA, love teaching counseling lessons, running groups and meeting with students one-on-one. So you have this as a template in these 2 PowerPoints. So I tell kids, I'm like, oh, I love baseball. I love going on and sharing on baseball. These are some signs that I made for kids a couple of years ago. Where I went to college, my favorite place is clearly the beach, can't wait to go there. And, emailing and my phone number, the direct line to my office number. And then like talking a lot about yourself. And then you can also like make this, if you want to, you can use this as a template. I don't know how many of you are Google schools, but if you are, you can have this be made into a Google slide, and then the kids can also do their own version. And I found that to be really cool, especially in a distance learning environment where the kids can be like, oh, this is my dream college, and get that little college and career place. This is my favorite place to be. So you can know about that, like SEL, need the places they can connect to. And then you can spark some conversations like, oh, love that you put, Disney World. I love Disney World. I go there every spring break. Oh, you do? My family does too. I go there every spring break. Wow, so exciting. And then you have like, I tell them about sushi and coconut shrimp is my favorite. I love rice and listening to Pandora. And then, they'll tell you all, middle school kids will always tell you about all the kinds of crazy music that they love listening to. So you get a little bit of like introducing yourself and a little bit of introducing them to all these things. So I tell them like, oh, I love traveling the world with students. I do Europe global travel. So this is me and my students and my team in Paris. This is us in Rome. And this is me and my team of teachers in Darragh, Switzerland and the Swiss Alps. And then we do the annual DC trip. I'm so sad we missed out on all these things in the past 2 years, but I'm really hopeful and optimistic that the fall will be, pretty open and everything. And then it kind of goes on more into like, what the other slides had. So more so of like introducing myself, and then telling them a lot about themselves. So does anyone know how to change that into a template on Google Classroom? Do you know how to upload, like you just upload the PowerPoint to Google Drive and then you can change it into Google Slides and then create it as a document? I see a lot of people are like looking and feverishly writing notes. So those are just some of my ideas of transition, and also educating and teaching some students, future students, about who we are and what we do. And I just think that's really important for them to like, I'm here for your academic, your social emotional, and to teach you college and career. Like in 6 years, like, you're the class of 2026. Like, what are you thinking? What are your ideas? And then also getting them, because it's not me just lecturing the entire time, like, telling me about your college and career goals and telling me about your life and all the things that are going on at home. So, and then you sometimes can pick up on some kids who are like, oh, well, I have divorced parents, or I have 2 moms, or I have 2 dads. I had some kid go on there like, oh, my name is Brianna, but I want to be called Brian, and I'm transgendered, and I don't want my parents knowing, and so you also have like some type of those examples type of thing, and then it's like, oh, okay, let's go have a private conversation in my office about this, and then going over your confidentialities, like whatever you say here stays here unless you're hurting yourself or hurting others. So I know I can talk a lot, like, then that was a lot of information I just kind of threw at you. So feel free to take these PowerPoints and make them your own, and then make them also into Google Slides and Google Classroom assignments as well. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm more than happy to do a tutorial of how to post that and how to make it your own. So does anyone else have any ideas or similarities or any questions and comments about what I just shared, or have another idea that they'd like to share with everybody?
I like these PowerPoints. I won't have rising 6th graders until, a year from the fall, but we can start using these things when we start doing our transition activities, when we're looking at scheduling in the winter, and the transition like tours and stuff in the spring. So I think this will be nice to tailor to our school and use that as a kind of like a, a brief introduction, and maybe even make it as like a 2-sided flyer for them to take home or something like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I I'm also going to start showing you like some of the brochures that we created to give out to parents. And then like we also did a lot of work on our website this year too. So that was actually, you're getting a little ahead of me, Marissa. We're already on the agenda of how to do that. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? All right, all good, helpful information though, right?
I think it totally helps. Like, we do have counselors K through, so they've gotten the education through, but every, grouping, when I have sixth graders again, then I always go through my role just yet again with them. So I think it's great.
Awesome. I'm always like more of a visual learner all the time. So like I see like it was so cute for this little program that we made and created when we created these PowerPoints of like, having my school counselors really care about me and my future, and like, controlling my anger, learning and studying. And these pictures just really provide that big visual of all those kids. I just feel like sixth graders are always wanting to find something new, and or tell you all about their lives. Like, I just like I always remember like the very first week, it's like, hi, I'm Mr. Darragh. This is what I do, what I'm here for. Oh, you're the one that I can talk to about all my problems. I'm like, yes. Like, and then they'll come knocking on the door. It's like, I need to tell you all about my life. And I'm like, wonderful, have a seat. So it's like creating that warm and nurturing environment. I always found that kids just always want someone to listen to them. They just need to like blab about their lives. And I'm just like, oh, okay, great. So you have a lot of really good connections with finding that. Okay, yeah, Darcy, I think there's going to be some people joining, so I will resend the PowerPoints for you more towards the end. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any transitional ideas? Anything that you have for incoming fifth or sixth graders in the fall, or how have you tackled making sure kids get to know you and or what kids know about you? Things that worked, things that didn't work.
Well, this year, we started off hybrid and then went back to full remote, and now we're back full time. And so when in September, thank goodness, I had the opportunity to meet some of our, incoming seventh graders, and then had to deliver the lesson 8 times as a result of being hybrid and having 2 teams. And but it was the second step, welcome to middle school or welcome to school kind of thing. And then I just added in because, I found that some of the very basics of students, and each time I've pushed into the classroom, we kind of revisit it, but just who's the principal, who's the vice principal, who's your climate specialist, who's your school counselor, your school social worker, your security, what's the lunch lady's name, or cafeteria aides, and we just kind of go over those things, and we're able to discover some of the biggest fears, and I know like because we bring together a couple of elementary schools. Once they arrive at middle school, they don't all know each other. And so they might not be as comfortable sharing out, initially. A few groups are, but, the ones that are kind of on the quieter side. So I learned that, if I had them close their eyes, and just kind of do it by thumbs up, and then I can deliver back the message that, 90% of you guys, gave the thumbs up that, your greatest fear was the lockers or getting lost, or, and so that was a positive experience that I'll use what you put in there too as what is a school counselor for my sixth graders, but that kind of melded into the welcome to middle school, because my age group will obviously change because we are bringing in sixth and not just delivering to seventh. So anyway, that was, and I'm glad that this upcoming year I won't be delivering the same guidance lesson, so many times over and over again. because I am not a classroom teacher for a reason, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was so awesome, Andrea. And you're going to be you're transitioning to getting sixth graders, right? Like for the very first time. Okay. Is it
Yeah,
going
so
to be
we'll have two new incoming groups. I mean, there'll be the sixth graders will be new to us, and so will the seventh graders.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wow. So exciting. Awesome. All right. Well, I just why if I gave you guys some more information on here too. So I know that we had a lot to do with executive functioning, planning, task initiation, organization. And so I held virtual morning boot camp. So like the kids started at 8 o'clock. And so, but the doors opened here at 7:30. So if they were home in a hybrid environment, I did do a 7:30 to 8 o'clock workshop. It's right before they went to class. So I was already here, right? And so I kind of persuaded my administration. Was like, well, if you don't give me a duty, this can be my duty, right? Because I hate standing outside for the buses, especially in the cold. So I was like, I can just do a virtual workshop and the kids will be getting a benefit, right? So if you look at the Google Doc link, for executive functioning workshop, I went over that, and it does a really good job of providing you a lot of good handouts for kids who need to work on organization, planning, task initiation, working memory. There's a lot of different chapters, and they all kind of flow together. So I think that was a really good, some good things. You can also print those. You can use it as a Google slide or use them as templates for Google Classroom for kids to kind of fill out. So definitely browse that for a little bit. We'll take a little, actually, let me kind of show you that stuff right now. So, oh, good, awesome. I see a lot of you are on here. So you can kind of flip through, and if you like, you can also you go to file and make a copy for yourself and for your school. So these goes over the table of contents. So a lot of what I do for assessing how these things are done is do an introduction on page 5, do an introduction to what that is, and then have page 6 provides the pre and post test quiz about what executive functioning means. So once you teach in all these lessons, you can do some pre-post data after 6 to 8 weeks of intervention, and then have them take it again, and then have them do all the answers again. So by the time that you get to page 9, those scores will be lower from the pre-test era. And then when they take it again, the numbers will be higher. So that shows your growth. So if you want to do that for a goal, for a T-val or anything like that, I always go to executive functioning, because I know I'm always going to show growth for any single time that I teach these lessons. So that's on page 9 and 10, and 11. And then you have your open-ended questions on page 11 as well. Because a lot of kids will put IDK or NA not available. I don't know, Mr. Darragh, why would I know this? It's like, it's good because you're not supposed to know it. And then I teach you it, and now you can answer all the questions, and then that shows your growth data from there. Okay, so the very first ones I did was talking about planning, talking about these other, how planning affects all your other skills. So each section that you go into will bring another page similar to page 14, where it can talk about how how time management affects your other skills, or how task initiation, or how working memory. So the kids were going to read this or go over it together as a group. And you can do this in small group counseling. I like to do this with my 504 kids all the time, and have them really dive deep down into their issues with planning or task initiation and organization. Those teams seem to be the top 3. So this is a really, really good resource. So I'm really happy to share this with you guys. So definitely browse that, on your time. Does anyone have any other ideas that they did with any group counseling that they shared with their students this year? Was anyone able to do group counseling units this year? No. Darcy, you're shaking your head. Everyone's like, no.
So we did attempt it, and my colleague Deb was just asking me about it, and for grade 6, and it was we had 2 girls groups going, but it was a combination of the in-person with those that were also remote. So we were trying to give everybody an opportunity that we felt would benefit. And it was tough because at one point when we were doing it, we also ended up being like out of our building for a chunk of time, and then kids were forgetting to log on, and then we just recently brought it back again so the girls could all be together for the last few weeks. And so last week we finally had like an actual, like all the girls were in and had an activity that they got through for the most part, but it's like right now they're in this mode of, they just want to talk. So it was like, and we don't want to discourage that. It was just that we were trying to also have some purpose to it again and kind of bring everyone back. And we went over group norms in the beginning, reestablishing what those expectations are in the group. But I just think this was a tough year to really have something, work the way you would want it to. The girls that we've had, they liked the time. So we're going to finish up with a couple more sessions. But we did have a program, and I wished I had thought to bring it up, but it was something similar. I might even have the hard copy, but we've been working off of that using having to do with friendships and how do you discern between like a healthy relationship and an unhealthy relationship. And because we've had some kids really struggling with that right now. So yeah, that's what we've been trying to do. Lots of learning for next year and what we're going to do differently.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that, Courtney. I just remembered I have an awesome Jeopardy game about friendships or frenemies. So I want to also, you guys are just getting all my free stuff today. Like, I hope you don't mind because it's all I just like, come up and thinking about all these really fun things. So I'll show you with that in a bit. I think it was Darcy. So I just resent the school counselor thing. You got that, sweetie? Okay. Awesome. So if you want to take a look at the friendship quiz show PowerPoint, we'll take a look at that. So it's really, really cool. Let me just share my screen again on that. This would be really good, especially with any incoming. I always have like, the conversation with kids, and I'm all like, listen, you're not going to be friends with everybody. Like, and just because someone says hi to you in the hallway, that does not mean that you're a friend. So this is a really cool PowerPoint slide that I got from a while ago. So let me make this bigger. So click on slideshow and play from start clicking and have fun. Okay. So this is something that we got a couple of ones. So it's friend or frenemy, healthy or not, multiple choice, true or false, or mystery question. So we kind of click for friend or frenemy for 300. I do things I really don't want to do to keep them from getting mad. So is that a friend or is that a frenemy? It's a frenemy because friends won't make you feel bad for not doing what they say. And then it disappears. So very cool, very clicky thingy. Multiple choice is you should drop a friend if A, your best friend doesn't like them, B, they don't like the same things like you, or C, none of the above. See, you should never judge somebody based on the opinions of others and make your own choices. You don't have to have everything in common to be friends.
Do you do something like this in classes where you make it kind of a game for people to earn points individually, or is it just more, do you do it as a group?
So I've done this mostly in group counseling. I didn't do this as a developmental guidance lesson, but it could be done as developmental.
Well, you had mentioned groups. I had 3 different groups running this year, but what I found is that we Zoom on Wednesdays, and that's when I would do groups because that's when we could have combined kids, because we had cohorted our kids based on color and sizing. And the games, the kids loved the games. Like we'd make up scavenger hunt. Like if you Google stuff, there's a lot of games out there. And it was the hook where kids are exited, but they don't want to be because they have so much fun
Oh,
in
I
the
know.
games. So I think the games are kind of like a big hook with the kids.
Oh yeah, I always have so many Gen Ed kids who were always like, take me, take me.
Yeah.
They're like, I hear you play games, and like, and I was like, yeah, they're pretty fun games, yeah. You
I
know,
think
I also,
it's fun too, and it breaks up their school day.
it
It's
does.
like just having fun.
Yeah, yeah, and these are easy. Like it'd be friend or frenemy, healthy or not, multiple choice, and then true or false, and then mystery. I haven't opened this in a long time because I didn't get a chance to do this one this year. Oh, that's really fun. These mystery ones. Friends are either true friends or frenemies. False. Any friend can have good qualities. Be honest with your friends. I preach all this good stuff all the time. So yeah, that's a really good PowerPoint. So definitely feel free to save those. And I think I just wrote back in the chat for you guys. I think some of you are having a hard time being able to download it. Oh, thanks, Courtney, for sharing your link to girls group. Woo! So fun. All right. And yeah, okay. So Blanchett and I think, is it Lisa Raska at Cheshire? I'll send it. I'll send those to you guys at the very end. All these awesome PowerPoints. Okay, so we had a lot talk about groups and introducing ourselves and everything too, and we're lots of good sharing here with girls group curriculum. Is there anyone else that had like any type of like successful groups or anything else that you'd like to share with anybody? Or did you try something new this year and jump out of the box? And if it worked successfully, even if it didn't work successfully, we can all talk about it. We're all here to support each other. Looks like you're feverishly taking notes, though, so that's good.
We had a remote group.
Okay.
For a number of kids, and that worked out well because we couldn't, being in cohorts, they didn't let us do the whole group thing. So for those kids that were home, most of them haven't come back at all. Some of them have, but we had groups for them on Friday. So it was like an afternoon kind of thing during their lunchtime. So, and they enjoyed that. I believe they enjoyed that anyways. They said they did.
Good. What was the focus of it?
It just depended on the week. It was more a social thing so that those kids could kind of bond a little bit. So it wasn't like academically based or executive functioning, or we got into all kinds of stuff, but it was a great thing. So
nice. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I had like right when I did all my what is a school counselor virtual lunch and activity, a lot of the kids introduced me to this game called Among Us. You all probably have some type of or know what that is. I saw the little smirk there, Marissa. And I was like, all right, well, let me kind of see what this mystery game is, because I'm always kind of like researching what the kids are doing. Like I'm really big in the whole sheesh trend that's going on. And I like today a kid saw my sneakers and they were like, sheesh, Mr. Darragh, you have such nice shoes. I was like, or I got really good drip is what they said. And I was like, I really hope that's a good thing. So they're like, oh yeah, that means you have style. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, they're just shoes from Payless. It's nothing serious. But I'm happy you think they're great. So yeah, those were really oh my god, I lost track of what I was saying. Oh, Among Us, yeah. So I was like, all right, let me kind of see what this game's all about. And so, even just to kind of get kids like, even like general ed and to just build relationships with kids, it was so hard, guys, to build relationships online. I'm all like, can you please show your camera, please? I was like, can I know who I'm talking to? And so I was like, all right, well, how can I like make a connection with these kids? So I actually ended up hosting these little Among Us lunch bunches from like 12:30 to 1. And in the fall. And you know, once we opened up, kids were like, can we have a Among Us lunch bunch again, like murder mystery? So I honestly felt like I was playing a game of Clue with these kids to find out who the murderer was. And like, it's like, you know, very like harmless, like like game of like, oh, like I killed you or whatever like that. And then the kids would be like, oh, like let's find out who killed who. And they're like cute little astronaut little thingies. So if you ever like hear about it, have the kids kind of hearing about it, and it's easy. You just download it on your phone, and there's a code, and then everyone else is on there, and you kind of figure out who the murderer is. So definitely something to kind of open up in the fall. A lot of sixth graders loved it more than my eighth grade group did. You know, they're like, oh, Mr. Darragh, you and your silly games again. I was like, you guys liked this 2 years ago. Like, but yeah, it was really just, I mean, it took a while for me to kind of figure out, because I was like, oh, am I the murderer? Am I like just someone who's like playing a game here? So it took me about like 10 times to kind of figure it out. But once you get going, the kids really loved it. And then when they were like found out that I was suspicious, or sus is what they said, then you kind of built that connection. And so, but now they're craving it now. Like they're like, can we play before we go for this summer? I'm like, all right, we'll do one more and that's it. So very fun.
What is how do you get to that link, the murder mystery? Like,
oh, so it's an app. It's a game you can download on the Apple Store called Among Us.
Okay.
So don't get addicted to though, Bonnie. Because they can get really addicting, because you're like, oh, I got killed, but I want to find out who the murderer is. Yeah. And
it's interesting how many ages it spans, because my 8-year-old likes to play.
Oh yeah.
In 7th grade, and I was like, oh, because you know some of those things are just too young or too old, but you seem to all enjoy it. And I, you know, at first I was a little hesitant, but there's no like blood or anything like that. You're either the imposter or you're not, and so yeah, it makes it fun, and it kind of goes through the ages, which is nice. So if you even had like a 6th and 7th grade group, it'd probably be a nice mix too.
Oh yeah. Or like you have a group of like ADD boys. And then they'll all remain focused on one thing, so that's good. Like, as long as you're making eye contact with each other and everyone's talking and giving respect to one other person before, then I think we met our goal today, guys. And so, Mark just shared there's a betrayal.io on the computer version that you can play of that. So that's really cool. So thank you so much for sharing that, Mark. Yes. Oh, okay. And then Courtney is saying that your file is asking us to sign in under your Google presentation.
Yeah, I just texted one of my colleagues, and I think she has to release it or something. I'm asking her right now. I thought it was something I could just share, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, okay.
We each purchased one, so I guess this might have been the one. I don't know if I'm waiting to see if it's something she can grant the access to.
Okay. All right. Well,
but I thought if I shared a copy that it would be okay, and I guess I didn't realize it.
All right. Well, thanks for attempting to share. And if it is something for us.
Well, if it miraculously becomes available, don't be surprised.
Okay. Well, I'll keep on refreshing the page just in case. Thank you so much. All right, so another thing that I revamped this year, and I don't know if anyone is kind of tech savvy, but Google Sites does a really good job or Adobe Spark is also another one on creating what your vision or mission statement is for what you want to do for your department and the student services. So we really kind of wanted to get connected to our school improvement plan as the student services department. It's me and another school counselor with, get ready, buckle up, 375 kids each. It's a lot. I work with 5 different teams, which is a lot. But we also have a school psych and a school social worker, and I don't know. I also am on the GRAC committee, the Government Relations and Advocacy Committee, and so if you have your latest CEA advisor, you'll see that I did a very big interview with CEA about the advocacy work at the state level and speaking on behalf of the laws going into effect about our school counselor ratios. So we are, for the state of Connecticut, on a roll. We're going. They know my face. They know Virginia DeLong's face, she was the 2020 school counselor of the year. She's also a really good friend of mine, and she is the director of the grant committee. And then I always kind of make fun of that. I was like, oh yeah, Virginia, I'm like your secretary. Like I work under you. So we're doing a lot of good work for the advocacy for that. So I wanted my parents to really know. Oh,
I'm like, why is mine not showing up then? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, did you want to say something or?
That was me by accident, sorry.
Okay, no worries. Just
Thought I was muted.
That's all good. So I really wanted parents to have some tips for success, for from a middle school principal, from how to 10 ways to keep your child. It's a great resources to build character, and a Google guide on how to use Google Classroom. And then some of our other events. So we also give out a podcast. We do 3 episodes a year at our school, and we kind of build it off of these topics. Next year I'm hoping to do like a virtual YouTube page, which I also shared with you guys as well. And then all the things that school counselors do, and then having these also helpful links about what does a school counselor do, and all of us. There's me and my team of ladies, and all the little bios and our contact information. And then I was really excited about providing these like special links, like Power School, Google Classroom, and Drive, and Naviance for what these parents. And so we also created a school counseling brochure, which provided a lot of the information from ASCA, from the Association of School Social Workers, and school psychologists as well. So again, just another part of our bios and what we provided for our parents. So I just think it was just easier because we could just send this out to parents, like, oh, like, what do you need from us? What do you need? What would you like to see from us? We send this out on a monthly basis. And this is the first one that we send out in September. So this is just an example. And then other programs that are offered in the city of Danbury. And then we focus a lot on coronavirus and having the medical center and school-based health center, and some expert advice from Yale and the infectious diseases. So a lot of that focusing on free parenting. I always kind of tell my parents, I'm not a parent, but if I was, this is what I would do, because I was like, I don't have any parent expertise. And then we went over and did whatever the month was. So this was September, so this is National Hispanic Heritage Month. And then June, we're doing Pride Month and providing a lot of information, just little quotes of fun things that people say, and we blast that out to our parents on a monthly basis. So that's how we kind of keep our communication. We have our own email called WSMSA Guidance at Danbury, and then we just blast that out to our parents and stuff. And we say, do not do not reply to this, go directly to Mr. Darragh or Ms. Reaper, Ms. Carbone, or Ms. Stuka for anything like that. So just a good way to keep that connection, again, with parents and keeping them provided. We also let them, we would take pictures of students in the school and just be like, oh, kids are working on science fair, kids are working in National History Day, because we're a STEM and Global Studies magnet program. So we have all those opportunities and things for kids as well. And then another thing on the website is my virtual calming room, which this took a long time to make, but I think once kids got a big handle of it, they really figured out oh, if I felt lonely or scared, or frustrated, they would click here and this would link to a Google form. And this sent information to me right away on if a kid filled this out, and letting them know about where they were feeling at that current moment. And then once they were in the virtual calming room, so this was mine, and each one of these squares provide a different activity. So this would be drawing on a mandala. This would be listening to an aquarium. This would be playing a virtual piano. This would be sitting down and relaxing and reading. And then we also provided some free audiobooks in the Starbucks cafe. So each of these would be books that would be read to you out loud. So we have the Call of the Wild, the Jungle Book, Harry Potter, Titanic, just some like interesting books that kids would that from our library that were actually like the most checked out. So that's how we kind of got them. And these were all free on audiobooks. And then we also provided some Netflix activities. So these are just links to YouTube channels of like that kids can do like workouts, like the Black Panther workout, the Captain America workout, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Frozen yoga, Moana. So very silly, like 4 to 8 minute workouts for kids. And then once they were done, they would click an exit survey for what they were finished with, and then let us know, like, how are they feeling now, and then that would be our data, right? So if they were feeling from mad, furious, or worried, how are you feeling now versus sad or tired, and then telling us which strategies of these do they use the most, and then which strategies would they recommend to a friend, and then what aspects of this would they must find valuable, anything you'd like to see added, and then please see me now, or I'm not sure, but I'm feeling better. I'll reach out if anything changes, and how they would rate it. And then Google provides all that information for us in a data format. So what kind of, let me see.
Did you find that kids were open to doing the both of the surveys, or do you think they were kind of just more visiting the site and not completing the surveys?
So I kind of like said, if you visited the site, you had to do the survey.
Okay. I think that's helpful, because I wonder how many could potentially just bypass that. So
yeah, like we had, so over the course of the year, we had 176 responses on the exit survey. So we also said that each kid should be, each 6th grader was mandated to do it. So we did it during like a team enrichment activity. And then, and when I say team enrichment, that's kind of like our study hall period. Or X block. Some middle schools have that period in their schools for the schedule. And then each 7th and 8th grader, I kind of said, you need to visit this, take a look at it, and then kind of let us know. So a lot of the kids, we found that more 6th graders fill this out than any other grade. Okay. And then are using the virtual calling room. I'm feeling pretty happy. Some from after they finished it, and a lot of the kids love the coloring. And then they love also the workout cinema as well too. So we got a lot of good information for what kids really liked, and then what they would recommend is the coloring and the go noodle dances. I'm a hot, like, you ever see those go noodle, like, I'm a hot dog, hey hot dog, like, what's up hot dog? let's do the hot dog. So this provided a lot of really good information, especially, and it let me know which kids wanted to see me. And then I got an email notification right away, exactly if they wanted to see anybody. So a lot of kids would rate it pretty good. So we got a really good 45, 80 kids out of the 176 that did this who wanted to, they liked it. So I'll take it's like every time I talk to the 5th graders, like, I'll take low and kind over mean and aggressive any day.
how long did it take you to create that?
So that was a little project I did like in August and September. So what I can do for you, I think what I can do is actually send it to you, and you can make a copy version of yourself. Oh no, it's a published website. So I'll put that in the chat. I'm not sure if you'll be able to make a copy of it, but feel free to definitely check it out. But it was a lot of copy and paste and then insert link and then put it in there. So once you get the hang of it, you just kind of like post it. But it was very cool because usually I have kids sit on like the beanbag chair or like squeeze a stress ball. And, in a virtual setting, we had to kind of get creative and create some fun ways that kids can calm themselves down, but I will have to tell you, I miss the crying kids. Like, I'm always like, my partner always she's like, oh my God, another crier. And I was like, no, bring him to me. Bring him to me. But I do miss them being like, well, I'm like, why are you upset? Like, my friend doesn't like me. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's talk about a friend or a friend of me. But yeah, that's the virtual common room. So, oh my goodness, 12:53. Crazy. So I hope you guys got a lot of good information out of this. Would you guys like rate this pretty good? Good workshop? Okay. Anyone felt like I could give them more? Oh, Bonnie, would you like to talk about that? What is Look It? I never heard of
Look
that.
at, yeah, it's a pretty cool. So I learned about it from the teachers on team this year. It's a program where it's a lot of games and you can input any questions that you have. You kind of create your own Book It. And there's like 5 different kinds of ways kids can play. They can race against each other. They can work in teams. But it's fun and very interactive. I have 7th grade this year, and the kids, they couldn't get enough of it. So I just used it as a wrap up of guidance lessons for the year, like an end of the year activity. But a lot of our teachers will use it to, you know, for like a review for a test or a quiz. It's a fun interactive. I taught myself. It's pretty, you know, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to use.
Nice.
Just something fun and different. I thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah, it's like Kahoot. So kids tell me it's better than Kahoot. They're like, oh, Kahoot's old, Look It's in. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I know. I teach at WestCon for social psychology, and my even college kids are like, Kahoot? Like, really?
It's like Facebook, you know? Yeah.
And I was like, I love Kahoot. It's like, stop making fun of me. It's cool.
You know, it's like Look It, it's like a Kahoot. It's an easy log on.
Yeah.
You know, you just access your info, and the kids, because they use it so much at our school, they're like, oh, which game can we play? You know? Yeah, it's a fun way to interact and gets all the kids involved.
Excellent. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I will definitely take a look at that. Always looking ways to, like, you know, expand and learn. So I hope that was that you all got some like great ideas for sharing in the fall for our incoming grades. I just put my email in the chat there, and for Blanchett and Raska, I will definitely send you those PowerPoints. I know for some reason, I'm sorry you couldn't download those in through the chat on Zoom. But definitely anyone on here, please reach out to me. I'll be doing a lot of work with Siska for the next year, since considering I have a new title now. I'm kidding. But yeah, so yeah, 2021 School Counselor of the Year. Wild. Crazy. So I'm sure you'll see me around. I'm still going to stay on as a middle school level liaison for the state. So I'll be doing some more workshops. Hopefully we can do some in person. We'd love to see you guys in person. Well, I know I got together with some of the Fairfield counselors yesterday at a little pizza and wine celebration. So that was very cool to finally see people. And I'm really hoping in the fall that we can see our kids without masks, because I'm always like, are you crying? Oh, are you laughing? Oh, okay. I'm not really sure. So I hope you guys all learned something today. So thank you so much for coming. Please, please, please do not hesitate to email me. You know, over the summer if you need anything. I start back August 16th. As soon as I come back from Ocean City, New Jersey. So that'll be great. Hopefully I'll come back much tanner than I am now. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming again.
Right, thank you.
Siska. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, Vanessa, I love her. Did you know Vanessa was my health teacher when I was in 8th grade? Oh, you're muted.
He told me that.
Okay.
We go to Acadia together.
Oh,
We go on
fun.
vacation together. She's a very good friend.
Oh, please give her a big hug for
I
me.
will, and she speaks of you very highly. So
I looked up to her when I was a kid, and I mean, she's great. I just can't express her anymore. But
she's
thank
a
you
good
so much.
person, and she's a very important person in our family's life. So She
Oh,
came to my daughter's soccer game the other day, so
oh, I just love her so
Yeah.
much.
I will tell her you said hello.
Oh, thanks. And I hope you had a great time today.
I did. You always give me ideas, and I'm in my 36th year, so I need all the ideas I can get, brother. So I will be calling you.
Excellent. We'll talk
Keep
soon.
doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great week.
Bye. Are you all set, Allison? Allison? Okay.